Well, welcome to our virtual brown bag for today, May 18th. We're going to keep on digging through 5 Lines of Code by Christian Claussen and practice some refactoring, unless somebody has questions. If you have questions or concerns or just want to point out that I'm doing something wrong, feel free. Just speak up. We're going today to cover we're going to look into a Unify Similar Functions refactoring and practice a Unifying Similar Code refactoring. They're very similar refactorings. And if we're going to have a little extra time, we might discuss the idea of not using getters and setters. Those tend to be a code smell. We'll talk about why that is. All right, that being said, let's do this thing. Okay, so one thing we want to do, we'll notice if you look here in the code, you've got this function remove lock 1 and remove lock 2. And basically the only difference between the two is that one works on lock 1, one works on lock 2. Now these are functions that we created a few weeks back and to help facilitate pushing some code into the classes and simplify what the classes did. But now we've got this, it's almost duplicate code. So what we want to do, we talked about this a little bit last week, and I wasn't prepared with an image. So here, we're going to use the strategy pattern. So basically you've got two functions that are very similar. So what we'll do is we'll create an interface with a common function call that each concrete object will go and implement that function call, and the client will call that interface, so it doesn't have to know which one of the specific implementations it's calling. So let's see how we make that work here, okay? So what we have here is we've got this, remove lock 1, remove lock 2 are, like I said, pretty much the same. So what we'll do is we will we'll do an extract method on the part that we're really interested in, which is basically is lock 1, right? So what we'll do is we'll take this, we'll mark that, and we will extract to an inner function, a function in the global scope. Great. So that's what we want to do. We want to call this check. Okay. And rather than pass in the X and the Y here, let's just use check. We want to pass in the whole tile just to keep it simple here. Okay. Turn tile dot is lock 1. Oh, sorry. What am I doing here? It's not a tile. Oh, that's right. I forgot to rename that. That's pretty silly, isn't it? We'll get to that. So we'll check. We'll just pass in here map of y x, right? Okay. We'll make sure that we didn't break this here. Right. We will do that. Like everything continues to work. That's good. Why don't we do this? Take that. Nope, that is lock 1. So what we'll do here, we're going to go to the top here. We've got our fall strategy. We did that last time. I just didn't explain it very well. But I hope to explain this a little better. We're going to go and create a class called a remove strategy. I was trying to rush and squeeze everything in last time, and that can be a problem. So what we'll do, so we've got this new strategy, and what we want to do, let's mark our spot here, come back down here so we can jump back and forth between the two. Where we go? Remove lock 1 and lock 2. So there's our remove strategy. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to instantiate the constructor for the remove strategy in the function. Okay, so we use the let because I shouldn't talk and type at the same time. We use the let so that it will initialize the variable in a consistent way. So should remove equal new remove strategy. Okay. So we got that. Now we want to go ahead and move this check method into the remove strategy. Okay. And we can squish that down a little bit. So from there, let me go back down here. So should remove, new remove strategy. So what we'll do is change this should remove dot check. Right. so let's try this again. Make sure that we didn't break anything. Okay. Right. Okay. So now we've introduced the strategy, and now what we want to do is we want to extract the interface from the implementation, right? So what we do here is come back up. This is a class remove strategy. What we want to do is we want to create an interface. Remove with an E. Remove strategy. Okay. And then, so what we'll do this here, this will be a remove lock 1, and that will implement the remove strategy. All right, you see how I'm doing that? And you see where I'm going with this? So basically, this will have a check. I really need to fix that. I'll return a null. Right. So now check will implement that method. What doesn't it like about this? check is not assignable to the same property-based type remove strategy. Oh, duh. This live coding thing is harder than it looks. Okay, so now we have this remove strategy is an interface. So we implement the remove lock one, right? So you'll see down here that this is a problem. I can't go and implement, I can't go and instantiate a what's that called? An interface. So I have to instantiate the concrete object, right? So you see that there's no red over here, so we compile. So let's go ahead and build. It compiles and everything should continue to work. Okay, good. Excellent. So we've basically changed the hello. So remove lock one now is using this strategy, which is it's using an interface. So now I can get rid of this check function here because nobody calls it. Okay. And now I can go to remove lock two. This here. And we'll do the same check here that we do here. Right? Oh, but we don't have a remove lock two, do we? Well, let's go ahead and all strategy, remove strategy. So you got to remove lock one. What did I just do? There. Now I have a remove lock two. And that says the lock two. Okay. You got to remove lock one, remove lock two. Okay. So now it looks like we've just kind of fiddled things around, but haven't really changed anything. So now, what we need to do is we've got our interface. So jump to the top, remove strategy, lock one, lock two. Okay, so basically we're going to extract everything here, right? And we'll create a function. Where are we here? We'll call this remove. Okay. And you'll see that this is exactly the same. Okay. Looks like Julia is joining. Great. Glad to see you here. Okay, so we've got remove lock 1, remove lock 2. Should remove. Right. And this is upset because I got this here. Boom. Right. Okay. So let's just go and move this to where it should be there. All right. Okay. So the thing is that so we've got our remove thing. What we need to do is, like, we've got these two functions still. How about we have instead of this being remove lock 1, this should be remove strategy. Right. So now basically we've extracted everything out, and this is has completely genericized whatever this function can be called by either one of these. Okay, so now let's just make sure that it continues to work. We'll do this here. Hold on. Next time I will make a point to turn off Discord. Before I start the meeting. Okay, so it still works. So that means that we've implemented this correctly, and that's good. So now, come up here. So we've got our remove strategy, remove lock 1, lock 2 implementations. So this is good. Now let's go look at key 1 and key 2, because they are the ones that are interested in, they call the remove lock 1, right? So what we need to do here is we change this to remove, make that a new remove lock 1. Okay, so we're calling that function, the general function here, oops. Okay, so we do that. That's key 1. Same thing here. Okay. So you see how that works. So, and then we go to the interface. So basically we pass in the tile. We've got our class that returns tile is lock 1 for remove lock 1, is lock 2 for 2. So that, let's go ahead and build that. Recompile. Well, we're not recompiling, we're refreshing the screen. But yeah, so everything moves and slides and drops and does the way it's supposed to. And the this is more concerned about the locking, so fixes the locking. So this makes, excuse me, this makes the remove function very general, and we're not limited by what we have to do. Okay, so we want to then go through and unify the similar code. Okay, so let's go back up here. So, well, first let's go ahead and let's check in what we've done. We really don't want to get too far before we go and not check stuff in, because you want to be able to roll back quickly. So we here, check it in, and that say, what do we do? We created a remove strategy that was to unify similar functions. That's what we did. Okay, good. All right. So let's go ahead and set this, mark this here. Now, I come here to the, here's our key one. If you look at draw tile, combat, blah, 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 G fill style. So we've got our draw method that does this. What am I trying to do? Move horizontal. Yeah, okay, that's it. I'm not looking at the draw. I'm looking at the move horizontal. So I need to look at the lock one and lock two. No, those are okay. So I'm sorry. I'm getting ahead of my notes here. So now we're gonna basically, the thing is, we've got this, you've got a key one. Here, let's do this. I've done this before. So I take all this, look at key one, and then I go to win merge, paste it in, and then I go to key two. And see what's different. So basically, key one, key two, color of tile is, I can do this real quick here. Go here, key two, so it's a different color. Remove lock one and remove lock two. Okay, so basically it's the color, it's the, and it's the lock one, lock two, and the key one and key two. So we're not going to make any changes there. Great. So what we want to do is we want to basically combine key one and key two to be the same thing. And what's different is we will go ahead and create a constructor here. So what's different is the color and the remove strategy object. So if we can if we can just pass those in, you see by declaring it private, it automatically creates it as a member variable. So basically, so this color right here, we pass in the color when we create the key, then we can, and we pass in this remove lock one strategy. So basically, we'll probably, let's just do this. I don't want to, I'm going to create a key, and I don't want to get rid of it yet because I don't want to lose this information here because I've got a short memory and I'll forget it. So okay. So all we're going to do is initialize those values, right? And so this will be color. This will be the remove strategy. There we go. Did I get rid of it? No, I didn't. Okay, good. So now I'll see where key one is created. Let me mark that. There's a new key one right there. And I'll say here. And key one, put that. This won't be a new key one, it'll be a new key. And it'll be a remove lock one. Same thing here for the key two. Two, it's right there. So this won't be a key two. This will be a key. And it'll be a new move lock two. Right? Now we can come up here, and I've got this key one, and I don't need it anymore. It can go away. And the key two, I don't need it anymore. It can go away. So all we have is the key. Why doesn't it like this? Cannot find name color. Oh, because I've got to use the right language. Okay, so you see what we did there. We implemented the strategy pattern by passing in the things that are different and moving the code that was duplicate here. It's easier to see in this diff here. So basically, we got rid of this function and effectively redid this by creating these member values that will go And we'll be able to use those by calling this remove function that's more general, and by setting the colors as a parameter. So then we've got this, this function right down here. And so now remove lock 1 and remove lock 2, remove lock 1, classes are there, but the function remove lock 1, that shouldn't be necessary anymore, right? Take those out. We don't turn red over here, do we? Let's go ahead and recompile just to make sure. So we're able to take those functions, push them up into the classes, and then take the common code, stick that into a single function, and use a strategy pattern for the part that's different. So let's make sure that we didn't break this here. Okay, this is a good thing. So let's, so we combined the code, combined to using strategy pattern. That, check it in. Okay, now you may have noticed that we have this key 1 and key 2 combined into key. We have a lock 1 and a lock 2. Chances are good that those are very similar as well. Let's do the same thing. Here, 2. All right, so basically you've got the is lock 1, is lock 2, and the color, right? So show us down at the bottom. So basically is whether it's is lock 1 and is lock 2 in color. So discard everything there. So what we'll do, just like we did before, I'm going to make a copy here. Call this lock command style 2. Okay, and I will have a constructor. Actually, that's what we do here. Private color string. Private is a lock 1 Boolean and private lock 2 Boolean. Okay, and it won't do anything but initialize those values. Okay, so then we come down here, is lock 1 return this dot lock 1, turn this dot lock 2, and this dot color. See, it's a lot quicker when you do it over and over. That's why we practice. Okay, so now we want to see where lock 1 is implemented. Lock 1 right here. So so basically we want to pass in the color, then the lock 1, and then the lock 2. So lock 1, this is the color. and then the flag. So it'll be lock 1, we'll say true, lock 2 is false. Okay. And this won't be a lock 1 anymore, this will be a lock. Right. And let's go back up. Here, lock 2, we'll get the color there. Lock 2. And this will be a false for lock 1 and a true for lock 2. And this will be a lock. So now we can get rid of lock 1 and lock 2, and we just have lock. And we don't have anything red in here, so let's go ahead and compile it and make sure that it still works. And it does. Very cool. So you can see what we did here real quick. We basically combined the similar code of lock 1 and lock 2 into a single lock 1 by passing in the parameters that defined the parts that are different, right? So we will go ahead and mark that combined lock 1 and lock 2. Find similar code. Similar, those are similar classes. Lock 1 and lock 2. That's what we did. Right, good. So now we've got the where is it here? Lock. So right, so we've got this is lock 1 and is lock 2 function, which is kind of it's just kind of awkward. So why don't we just you pass true, false, and false, true. Why don't we just basically combine these, and it'll just say if it is lock 1 or is not lock 1. So let's just get rid of the lock 2. And then when we're checking for lock 2, just say turn not is lock 1, right? It's lock 2. So everybody calls that is lock 2. Well, let's just get rid of it. Boom. And we are unhappy down here because we're now passing stuff in that we don't need. All right, so we compile. There's no red here. And this continues to work a lot. It's good. Very good. So it looks like I need to kill off teams during these meetings too. All right. So change we made here, we just basically remove the unnecessary lock 2. Remove unnecessary is lock 2 method. It's not a method, it's a function. Okay, so add that, and we'll check it in. Good. And you know, something that's been bugging me for a while. Here, yeah. We've got this tile 2 thing. Let me there. I just, you know, when we originally went and cleared up the tile interface from the tile object, the tile enumeration, I never went and renamed this to tile 2, so, or from tile 2 to tile. So yeah, you see that's just a bunch of different places where it was named, and we'll just make sure that by going and renaming that doesn't break anything, but I'm reasonably confident it doesn't. It just looks ugly having that tile 2 thing there all the time. So just indulge me on this one. So name. It's ugly. All right, good. All right, so now, so if we look, got our key. Where'd it go? Box. We've got our key and our lock, right? I don't know. Am I the only one here? No, I got somebody here. Who's here? Who's joining me at the party? Benjamin. Hi, Benjamin. You always join me, but you never say hi. Okay. I'm glad you're here. Okay, so unfortunately my notes aren't clear here. I should have written this down better. So basically we've got this idea of for the key in our constructor, we've got this color and a remove strategy, right? And then here for the lock, got a similar thing where we've got a color and a lock flag. And it's just, it seems like there's something that we could clean that up there. What we could do is, oh, that's right. Right. So what we can do here, we can basically combine all those parameters into a single thing. So what we'll do is we'll create here a class key configuration. No, I don't want to create it way up here. Let's create it down here where it's going to be used, right? So you got the key and the lock down here. So I'll have a class key configuration, right? And so we'll just go ahead and have it take everything that's here, this private color. We're going to do a private, and it basically is just a flag. So we're not really, it doesn't really matter what we name it. Christian suggests we name it an _1, but that is basically the is lock1 flag. And then okay. So then here, what we're going to do, this will go and get its information that it needs, all right? That color, well, it's going to return what it needs to. So because, I gotta spell this right. What am I doing wrong here? Oh, I'm sorry. This. What am I doing? I need to pay attention. So, and then is 1. Okay. So those aren't in the constructor. Those are the functions for the key configuration object. So basically what we'll do here, now in this, when we create a key, rather than pass all those parameters, we will have a private key configuration. Right. Okay. Here, let's just put it all in one line. And then for the lock, we're going to do the same thing. Bear with me on this. This is going to make sense in a minute or three. Okay. So we're going to basically pack all of those parameters into the class. All right. So then right. Okay. Okay. So we've got all that working. Need to come down here and change this. So now Right, so now what we're going to do, we've got these different things that we're going to do. If you look at, this is CFF, this is FFC00, right? Which is is there. So basically, the FFC00 here, we'll that. If you think about it, well, FFC00 is yellow, right? So what we're going to do is create an object that has all of these set already so that we don't have to have this color duplicated and with these other things. It'll basically be, if we're going to be displaying the key is yellow and the lock is yellow, they'll both be the same, right? So we'll go in and create a constant up here. I like to create all my constants at the same place. Constant. Yellow key. New key configuration. And this will have so you see in the key configuration, the first thing we have key configuration. See what that's defined. It's got the color, it's got the flag, and the remove strategy. It says whether or not it's key one, right? So here is this. It's used before its declaration. Really? Okay, fine. Come down here to where we've defined it. And I guess it does make more sense to put it there. Okay, so we'll have a yellow key and then down here in the CCFF, that is really blue. There. So you see how we did all that? So now we just come down here. And since we've got all that key configuration defined in another place, we don't have to clutter this up with stuff that's hard to read. This would just be a new key. Oh, wait, no. Yeah, transfer. So, right. So you say new, right, key, and it would be yellow key. Doesn't like that because key implements tile structure key configuration. I don't understand. Oh, I'm saying new key already. Duh. This would be a new lock. Yellow key. Right. Blue key. Stop that. Blue key. So that just reads a little more easily. And remember, we're not writing code for computers to be able to read. We're writing it for people to be able to read. And so that's if we can take the complex, ugly code and sort of push it off to a part of the program that we don't have to look at. This reads very simple. Okay, so we've got no red over there. We'll go ahead and build. And that worked. And make sure it compiles. And this is good stuff. All right. So look at this, see what we changed. I mean, it looked like a big ugly mess, but really we got rid of this extensive constructor pile stuff, and we just created this object that kind of took all that clutter and got it out of the way. So now the class is much simpler. If you look at the key and the lock classes, they're much simpler. You just pass in a key configuration, and they're much smaller. So let's make a note of that. Simplify code. We'll simplify the there we go. And so that's what we wanted to do, is just make the code easier to read. If you can get the code to read pretty much like a storybook, then it's so much better. And if you can take the clutter, like this key configuration stuff, and kind of isolate it to a single place, then it makes the rest of the code a lot easier to read. Also, if you think about it, if we decide we want to add another type of lock or another type of key, it'd be trivial now. You want to add 3 or 4 keys and locks. It's trivial. Just go and create a new key configuration, and you're good to go. We're pretty much out of time here, so I'm going to call it quits. We've basically worked through chapter 5 here, and we will be, I guess we've got another couple of chapters to go. So this is kind of fun practicing the refactoring, and I appreciate you coming and joining the party. And here, let's go back to our picture. We'll get back after it next week, and just keep calm and refactor. Have a great day.